Hey y'all, welcome to Blue Back and Door channel. We're gonna go ghost hunting with this man right over here, wherever I can find him. Mr. Sass, are we gonna see any ghosts? What we gonna do today?
Well, we're gonna go look for ghosts.
We're gonna go look for ghosts. They experts on it. So run that intro and we'll get into whatever we're gonna get into.
Good to see you all. Well, folks, I want to welcome you to your Ghosts and Gravestones tour. My name is Sage, and I'll be your ghost host for this evening's journey through the darker side of our nation's oldest city. The way to get out is for you all to solve a riddle. Are you ready? Listen carefully. My spine is stiff and my body is pale, but I'm always ready to tell a tale. What am I? A book. I heard it. Yes. Somebody smart in here. Let's see. Which one is it? I'm gonna try this one. Yes. It works. Don't you want one of these in your living room?
Well, this ship of doom came sailing into our harbor here in 1821. It was a supply ship from Havana, Cuba. Goodness. We're going to have to fight with those, I guess. This supply ship came sailing in, and normally this was a grand day for the town of Saint Augustine, but not so much this time. For you see, when the ship was boarded, it was found that every single sailor was dead, including the captain. Well, this was horrible, but supplies are supplies, and everybody needed the goods. So what did they do? Well, they sent a team of folks on board to shove aside the bloating, fly-ridden corpses. They gathered the boxes of goods, brought them into town, distributing as needed. But those biting flies on the dead bodies, they brought in another gift for the town as well. The yellow fever. Well, the horrible epidemic began, and day by day, dozens and dozens of more diseased bodies were piling up. A whole new cemetery had to be started. That is the Huguenot Cemetery coming up on your right momentarily. It is full of mass graves of those fever victims. Sometimes 20 bodies or more piled into one pit. Only the top person receiving the headstone marking. So now it is known as Spirit Central. Locals claim that victims of the fever rise up as apparitions wandering even into town. Misty figures are about, and you might even hear disembodied moaning or laughter. Now, one of those apparitions is often seen between the stone pillars of our city gates off to your left. Her name is Elizabeth. Let's say hello and see if she's there. Hello, Elizabeth.
Hello.
Elizabeth. She was the young daughter of the gatekeeper in those days, and unfortunately she and her father both succumbed to the yellow fever. But Elizabeth has never really left. For you see, the shopkeepers along this road are often asked, who is the lovely little historical reenactor at the gates tonight? And they have to say, there's no little actress out there. You have seen Elizabeth. Ah, yes, she's so clearly seen, but then you might do a double take and find her fading away into a misty figure of herself. Is leading us directly to the oldest cemetery in town. It is the Tolomato Cemetery, the Spanish Catholic burial area from 1773 to 1884. So many people think Tolomato must be a Spanish name, but they'd be wrong. Tolomato is actually the name of the Native American chief and his village that was here long before the Spanish Catholics even arrived. So folks, essentially, go ahead, Tombstone Tony, we have one graveyard on top of another in this area. Can you imagine the paranormal possibilities here? Well, that is exactly why we want to begin our first field trip already. We're going to get an up-close and personal view of the cemetery and then head into a haunted building as well. So please gather your belongings. But wait till I get off and follow me.
Now, this was built in honor of Father Varela, a missionary priest from Cuba who did a lot of good in our community in the early 1800s. He was honored well. And now if you look right before us, To the left of the large oak tree, you see a bust overlooking a grave vault. That is the burial site of Catholic Bishop Augustine, Florida's first Catholic bishop. He was a man well known for his good works in our community, and so when he died, he was also honored well, but I have a very detailed story about him for you a little later on. Let's begin now at that large oak tree before us with the first haunting tale. You see, in the mid-1800s, the ghost stories were growing about this place, and there were some teenage boys, residents of the town, who wanted to prove that they weren't scared of ghosts. They said, we're going to go camp out overnight in the Tolamato, and we'll stay there all night. We'll prove we're not scared. So they put up a tent. Oh, there's an owl. Yes, up in the tree. Beautiful. So these boys...
Be watching for shadow glows. Shadow ghost. Shadow ghost.
Proud of haunting history of people here. Hardly a pirate's den. Come in, come in. I'm sure everybody has some room. You can fill in a little bit more dead space. I want everyone to be able to see this display to my right. You may stand in front of the cabin or the pirates here. They are not known to jump to life. Not typically. We have everybody? Come on in so that you can see this display here. Yeah, we can make a double row here, shorter people in the front if we need to. Come here, please, and up the steps. Carefully there, and place your back to the post here, looking out at your audience. Now, sir, what is your name?
Andrew?
Jason.
Jason.
Go with Jason.
Well, not anymore. It's Andrew Ranson anymore.
Oh, Andrew.
Andrew Ranson. Imagine it, folks. He stood up in the middle of our town plaza, and this is the best entertainment around in those days. Families with children would have gathered with their picnics. The priests and all the clergy members were there, and of course the governor and his men were present. Now, once they'd gathered, the executioner would step forward to read the name and crimes of
Andrew Ranson!
Hello?
Andrew Ranson, you no good pirate!
What are you talking?
You've been found guilty of the crime of piracy and
I'm sorry.
sentenced to death by garroting. This rope pulled through a hole in the post will now be pulled around your no-good thieving neck and tied off with a batten. It will then be twisted and pulled tighter around your no-good English neck until you die by one of three ways. Bleeding,
Oh.
suffocation, or, crowd favorite, decapitation! Oh, and afterwards, we're all invited back for tea and cookies hosted by the governor.
Tea and cookies at the governor's house. Well, of course. I mean, the governor was the happiest of all to be getting rid of this dirty, rotten, stinking pirate. No offense. But the people in the crowd would be getting restless, waiting for this process to begin. That's when they would start placing bets with one another, wondering how many turns of the rope it will take to off this one. So place your bets. How many turns of the rope do you think?
He's pretty stubborn, so it's probably going to be a lot.
We want the torture to be here all day, right?
That's zero, I get paid by the twist.
Oh my. Here we go.
100.
Well, I'll tell you how it went for Andrew Ranson that day. With the first turn of the rope, Andrew...
Remember what they said? Volume.
Okay, yes.
Vowel.
With the first turn...
Get ready to rumble!
With the first turn of the...
Sunday.
It is your job.
With the first turn of the rope, the coarse braided fibers bit at his neck. Still, Andrew remained eerily calm. But with the second turn of the rope, his hand was seen grasping at something in his hand. It seemed to be rosary beads.
What?
Now, what is the English Protestant pirate doing with Catholic rosary beads?
Makes no sense.
With a third turn of the rope. Oh, he showed difficulty breathing. More difficulty than that. With a fourth turn of the rope. Oh, the rope tore at his skin. Blood began trickling down his neck. With a fifth turn of the rope. It's hard to tell, but his eyes began bulging out of their sockets. Yeah. With a sixth turn of the... What? The rope snapped. Miraculously, the rope broke from his neck and Ransom took a giant breath of air. And then, as if time stood still for a moment, the crowd gasped and stood absolutely motionless until a priest fell to Andrew's body, turned to the crowd, announced, "We have witnessed a miracle!
It's a miracle!
This man is spared!"
It's the rosary beads. It's a miracle.
And then the priest escorted Ransom down the steps of the church,
Yes.
over to the steps of the church, turned to the crowd, and announced, "Sanctuary!"
Sanctuary.
And then everybody gave the nasty pirate and the priest a big old round of applause. The steps of the Catholic sanctuary, the governor realized he would have very little success arguing with the priest that his power was greater than that of God. So defeated, the governor retreated, and Ransom remained under the protection of the church for many years. Sanctuary! Yeah, sanctuary. Eventually, the town even granted him his freedom in exchange for the help to finish the Castillo de San Marcos, and during the English siege of 1702, he even interrogated English prisoners for the Spanish troops. Traitor! 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 He even fell in love with and married one of the most beautiful Spanish ladies in all of Saint Augustine, who happened to be none other than the governor's only daughter. You got it. The one that got her. The descendants of Andrew Ransom still roam this town to this very day. All because on a strange day in 1684 in the town plaza, an English pirate was saved by a miracle. I think it was more like an odd little twist of fate, Padre. No?
Licked off.
We've had some varmints get in my fingers even from time to time. Welcome into Death Row. Do take a look around. You can take some pictures. Oh, I do have to check that light switch. Just a second. I'll be right. Oh, sorry. Come on in. I'm wanting to check that light switch. Don't all get plunged into darkness. Take some pictures, folks. I'll be right back. 2 seconds is all.
They leaving me. All right, folks, Barry can't see me, but hope you enjoyed that little ghost tour. I didn't give you all of it. You gotta come watch it. Go check out that video there, that one there. Hit the subscribe button, give you a thumbs up. We'll catch you later.